you're watching Gears, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
You know, there's an old saying that you hear a lot. They just don't make stuff like they used to. And there is some truth to that. And old cars and guitars are a prime example of that. Matter of fact, there was a time when pretty much everything we bought was built right here in the United States by craftsmen that really cared about the quality of the products. And when you experience something that was built with that kind of pride and those kind of materials, well, the difference in quality is obvious. That's why there is such a demand for vintage stuff. But with all of the new technology and advancements that we've made over the years, surely it's possible to build something better today than we did 30 or 40 years ago, right? Right. But only if you blend that new technology with the tried and true techniques and craftsmanship that made the original stuff so good. This is not an easy line to walk, but it is possible. And a great illustration of that is the Cornwell Ratchet that successfully combines 19th, 20th, and 21st century technology. Take a look. When designing or upgrading a ratchet, the first step is to lay out the design, and this isn't just randomly scribbled out on some napkin. Today you have to use state-of-the-art computer modeling to lay out every nuance of a new tool based on what the mechanic will need.
Starting with a forging drawing, and then we transfer that to a forged die, and then to a die sinker die. There's so many steps. We use AutoCAD, ANSI specifications, material specifications. We do all these volume calculations for our dies to make sure that they wear correctly. There's a lot more to this than I think the average person thinks.
Now, once the basic design is decided, the process goes from the computer back in time to the old school forging process, where metal dies are built to the computer specs, and then these dies are fit into a massive drop hammer that uses 3,000 pounds of brute force to forge the body and the handle of the ratchet out of steel. And this is where the craftsmanship comes in, not only to protect your fingers, toes, eyes, and ears, but also because bars of special alloy steel need to be heated in a furnace to a cherry red glow so they'll be pliable enough to be formed into the proper shape. Now, in spite of what it may look like, this isn't just mindless hammering. The state of the metal and the way it's hammered is very specific, requiring considerable amount of skill to do right, just like back in the old days.
If you get them too hot, yeah, they explode. I mean, scale, hot metal goes everywhere. So
there's a sweet spot there.
There is a sweet spot. And with my black glasses, I usually see that sweet spot because I know if by the naked eye you can look in there and it looks molten. If you have the darker glasses on, you just want that kind of nice orange, yellow glow. And then you want to take it out and hammer it.
When we're forging a wrench, or say a long ratchet, the material at the forging temperature will shrink 15 thousandths of an inch on the forging when it comes back to room temperature. So if let's say you have a 17-inch product that you're forging, it will shrink slightly over 1/4 of an inch when it comes back to room temperature. You have to build this into every dimension, radius, shank, volume calculation, all that has to be done. So there's quite a bit going on there.
The process of forging metal has been around for centuries, and it was used to build everything from swords to suits of armor. But it doesn't just shape metal. It also compresses the molecules in the metal to yield an incredibly strong, dense, superior piece of tool steel.
Cornwell is known for their ratchets, and that's one thing, you've got to get that steel perfect.
Now, once the shaping is done, the newly formed blank is punched out and allowed to slowly cool. But it is a long way from being done, because now it needs to jump forward 100 years and blend that crude, old-school forging process with some new technology. Armed with state-of-the-art CNC machines and high-tech drills, the handles are machined for the ratcheting mechanisms. Now, due to the extreme precision of these modern tools, the tolerances can now be done extremely tight and accurate, resulting in an exceptionally high-quality tool.
In the past, they were 4 or 5 thousandths. Now they are 1.5 thousandths. You're taking a product that's running on a technology that's 100 years old, and then you put it on a vertical machining center that is 3 months old. That's just so that every moving part in there is supported as to, to the best of its ability.
Once the machining is done, the tools go back into the hands of skilled craftsmen who begin the tedious finishing process. Because of the heat and hammering that's involved in forging, the handle of a large ratchet will naturally be wavy. So each one is trued up by hand using a press and a very steady eye.
There's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into the product here. Again, due to the experience, the time that a lot of the employees have put in here, they know how to tweak the part just right, tweaking their fixtures, whatever they need to do.
From there, the tool is handed off to be finished sanded. Once again, with only trained hands and eyes guiding the process. When these guys say it's right, it's right. And only then do the tools move on to the next step. And there's always some that don't quite make the cut. After sanding, the tools are dumped into a vibrating polisher to smooth off any other rough edges and get them ready for plating. Once the polishing is complete, the chrome plating is next. And this is where the tools start to finally look like what you're used to seeing in your toolbox. After the plating process, the tools go into final assembly, where they're fitted with their ratcheting mechanism. But even these mechanisms are constantly being improved and refined to build a better tool.
The tolerances over time, now we run them on our CNCs, constantly improving.
So it is possible to make a better ratchet?
Yes, it is. And that's what we do.
Hey, welcome back to Gears, where we have been talking about tools and why there is such a big difference between professional grade handmade tools and the cheapies that are stamped out on a machine overseas. And to help illustrate that, we have followed the journey that a Cornwell ratchet takes to become, well, a Cornwell ratchet, and it's pretty cool. But now the question becomes, how do you convince a budget-minded car guy or mechanic that something new is superior to that tried and true piece that's been in his box for 20 years. The only way you're going to do that is to let the tools do the talking.
I don't feel like any of this is work. This is all fun, it's all pleasure. I get enjoyment of seeing the ratchets. When promos come up, I'm just as excited about them as my customers are. So I think that's what helps me when I'm trying to sell.
There's some things machines can't do as good as humans can do still. As you can see, one of them's forging, and I believe for myself that forging, it should never change like that. Make the ratchets, keep them forged. It's a stronger steel.
I talk about the unique traceability on our ratchets and our sockets and all that. The fact that it's not just any regular old steel, we certify it as American steel. There's a lot of pride behind it. I think I can sell that pride to my customers. You know, the hand polishing of the wrenches. I don't know that any other company takes that much pride in every tool. Every tool is touched by a hand as it's being produced.
You know, you really have to have a feel for the application, because there have been quite a few things that we've added and taken away from product that was unnecessary, or hey, if we do this will hold up better. So, you know, it's just a matter of experience.
I first ask them, pick a ratchet on my ceiling. Tell me which one you think would suit you best. And when they pick that ratchet, I tear the ratchet all the way down. And when you do that, you see the pawl, and that no matter which side tightening or loosening, that full pawl is engaged. Where some other competitors, maybe they only have 2-3 teeth that are gripping at one time, where we have several teeth.
Do they make them like they used to?
No, we try not to make them like they used to. We make them better. So, no, it's true. I mean, the tooling's better, the tolerances are better. So what we have to do on every dimension here is add the shrink to it.
Yeah.
The second thing that we have to do is we have to do a volume calculation for every one of these cavities in the die itself. We have to make sure that that's going to flow correctly.
And once a person gets a grasp of the incredible amount of research and development that goes into designing a new tool, and add to that the craftsmanship and detail that it takes to hand build them, there's not a car guy or mechanic out there that wouldn't want to get their hands on this kind of tool.
There you go, Burns. Hey, man, I appreciate you, buddy.
Because there's only one place this kind of stuff is being built, right here in America.
But our main business, 99.9%, is with Americans. And if we're selling to Americans, we should make our product in America. That's what I feel.
I know when I pick up a product, I feel better when it says American made. It's crucial. We're not going to have anything if we don't have American made. I've said it to a lot of people that if we lose our hard line, we're no different than anybody else.